Hi everyone, welcome to today's video. My name's Stephanie and today I'm going to be showing you Picture Polish's newest collection. Picture Polish, if you don't know, is an indie brand that's based in Australia, but they do have some international stockists. I have shared them a couple of times on my channel and their collections usually feature these collaboration shades with people in the nail community, which I think is so cool. As always, I will save some more thoughts for the end, but I do want to give a quick thank you to Picture Polish for sponsoring this video. So for now, let's just get into the swatches. The first polish we have is September, and this one is described as a hazel holographic with golden particles and green and brown shimmers. So right off the bat, I will say that I did not see any green shimmer in this. This definitely leans like a very yellowy brown kind of shade, almost like an antique gold or like brassy color, and I thought it was so unique. I think I would say that this is considered a prugly shade, and I'm actually on the fence with how much I like it personally for me, where I know for sure I think the color is so beautiful and I love that it's described as a hazel. I also just genuinely love this kind of scattered hollow formula from Picture Polish. The formula was also really nice and smooth, but I'm just not convinced that I love this on me. So I'm curious to know what you think of this one, but yeah, I think this one was just such a perfect fall shade. The next shade we have is Ophelia, which is described as a deep red teal, according to the website, filled with these rainbow iridescent flakies. So I am confused about this being described as a red teal. I'm not quite sure what that means. I will say it definitely is accurate being just called a regular teal, if that matters. And this is one of their jelly flaky formulas. So as you can see on the first coat, the base is a little bit on the jelly side, so it's a bit translucent, which really lets those iridescent flakies just glow. I feel like there's also this sprinkling or dusting of a holographic kind of particle, so it is just so sparkly and pretty. I feel like I've been loving on these deep teals lately, so this was just such a beautiful shade. After doing 2 coats, I feel like it looked pretty full coverage, especially because of the amount of flakies. It just kind of visually covered up any visible nail line, but seeing it in more natural lighting, I feel like you could see some hints of nail line, so this could be a 3-coater just depending on your preference. I really loved how this looked in lower lighting because the iridescent flakies just glow under that lighting specifically, and you can still tell that the base is this dark teal. It just looks so mystical, almost giving me mermaid vibes. Up next we have Change, and this one is described as a rustic red with golden shimmer and golden flakes. This one was easily my top favorite from this collection. If you remember from my fall favorites video, you know that I am just loving these super rusty reds or burnt orange kind of shades. I feel like in the bottle it definitely leaned a little bit more of that burnt orange kind of color, especially because you saw more of that golden shimmer and the gold flake. But on the nail, I feel like it leaned more of a red, and the gold shimmer didn't stand out as much. It kind of gets lost in that jelly base, but you can still tell that like there's these beautiful golden flakies in there. You just don't get as much of that yellow golden color from it. And you know I do love a golden shimmer, so part of me was a little let down that there wasn't that much contrast with the shade, or just that it didn't look like it did in the bottle exactly with that gold shimmer, but I still really loved how this looked on me. I just think it's such a beautiful, warm, and flattering color, and I'm just so excited to have this for fall. Then we have Today, and this one is described as a dark green base with hints of turquoise and violet shimmer and a silver reflective glitter. For some reason, just seeing this in the bottle, I wasn't super drawn to it, but putting it on, I was like, Wow, this is so beautiful. It just looks so dark but saturated, and I love how sparkly it is. The formula was super impressive, where you can see on the first coat alone, it was incredibly pigmented. Not quite a one coater though. I still would of course recommend doing 2 coats, but this definitely did have the most full coverage or pigmented formula out of the collection. And yeah, I just don't know what else to say about this shade. I love the base color. I love the shimmer. I didn't quite see the purple shift in the shimmer. It definitely looked a lot more teal or turquoise, but I still love that because I feel like it's just a beautiful complement to the base color. And obviously I do love the silver reflective glitter in here. It just makes it extra twinkly under flash, but I feel like this is one of those shades that is still incredibly sparkly when you're looking at it in natural lighting. I was also just so in love with how it looked in low lighting, because it just looks like this super dark, mysterious green, but you still get that twinkle from the shimmer where it almost looks like it glistens. So I was just so in love with this polish, way more than I was expecting it to be, because again, when I saw like the collection lineup, this one just didn't really stand out to me just from the bottle alone, which was so weird. But yeah, I can imagine I'm gonna be loving this one this winter. The next shade we have is Infinity, and this is described as a dark purple jelly base with holographic glitter and flakies. This was another favorite from this collection. I just love a good glitter polish, and this one was immaculate. It had such impressive coverage on the first coat alone. I was like gasping when I saw how pigmented it was. The base again is a little bit jelly leaning though, so I still wouldn't call it a one coater. I would recommend doing 2 coats, but I think that's all you need considering just how dark this shade is. Not to mention how it's just packed with those holographic glitters and micro flakies. It just looks like a purple galaxy on your nails. It is so freaking beautiful. I love deep, dark, vampy purples, especially for this time of year, so I was just so excited for this one. It's a shame I didn't have direct sunlight for these natural light clips, because I feel like it's just looking so much darker than it actually is. It just looks like a very blackened purple, which, don't get me wrong, it can definitely look like that, especially in lower lighting, but I feel like you're just not seeing the purple that I was seeing in real life. So I did include a clip of this under flash as well, even though it doesn't, technically need it. There's no flash reflective glitter or anything, but I just noticed having my chair in the background just really fixed the color balance, and you can just see how purple this looked. And rounding out the collection, we have Memory, which is described as a dark red jelly polish accented with gleaming, multicolored Aurora flakies. Now, unfortunately, I feel like because of how pigmented this red jelly base was, it just covered up the Aurora shifting colors of the flakies. I just thought that they were kind of golden flakies, or just, monochromatic or metallic rather. So that was a little bit of a shame to read about in the description that these were actually supposed to be Aurora, because they are just so beautiful, but you kind of lose that in this polish. This definitely has a much more monochromatic feel, where even if the flakies were gold, they just look red because of how pigmented the base is. But that being said, it definitely makes for a really great vampy blood red kind of mani, which is especially fitting for this time of year. It had another great formula too, where, as you saw, the first coat definitely was a bit jelly but still very pigmented, and I found it opaque enough for me on 2 coats. I had a really hard time seeing any visible nail line even in natural lighting, so I imagine most people can get away with this one in just 2 coats alone. So it's definitely a great polish where it performs well, but I just didn't love this one as much as I wanted to. I think the flakies were just a little too subtle for me. And here is a collage of the full collection. I cannot get over how beautiful and deeply saturated these colors are, and I especially love that they all have a beautiful sparkle. Now, getting into some comparisons, I wanted to start with Ophelia and show this next to Avalon because I thought they both had a similar jelly flaky kind of formula. But as you can see, Avalon is much more of a true, almost emerald green. Ophelia is definitely more of a teal leaning base color, much more blue toned, and it's also packed with these rainbow iridescent flakies. Then for change, I had to show this next to Foxy, which you might remember from my fall favorites video this year. I thought these were going to be a lot more similar color-wise, at least. Like, I knew that Foxy was this scattered holographic type of formula, but that one I would consider more of a true burnt orange, and change, you can see, leans more in that rusty red territory. I did also want to show a direct side-by-side with Ophelia and Today, since I thought those looked pretty similar, at least in the bottle, as far as like the tealy kind of base colors go, but you can see that Ophelia is definitely much more of a true blue-toned teal, while Today is a deeper green with a blue or teal shimmer. And lastly, for Memory, I wanted to show it next to Picture Polish's Velvet, which is a metallic kind of formula, but I thought maybe color-wise they would be kind of similar, but Memory is much more of a true blood red kind of shade, while Velvet almost has this berry-leaning color to it. So that wraps up my swatches and a few comparisons for Picture Polish's newest collection. As always, I would love to know your thoughts on this release because I really love it, and I was pleasantly surprised by it too, because I feel like when I first saw them I was like, okay, like, you know, they're kind of nice, like fall colors, but trying them on myself I was just so blown away by how amazing they actually looked. Like, I really enjoyed wearing them a lot more than I thought that I would, and like I've mentioned in my other reviews, I just generally have loved every Picture Polish formula that I've tried. They have always just been so incredibly pigmented and easy to work with. Even the brush itself is absolutely perfect with how it just perfectly hugs my cuticle. So yeah, I love Picture Polish. From the few polishes that I've tried, I just haven't been let down by them before, and I don't expect to, but I guess I haven't tried like every single formula that they have. But yeah, as far as these polishes, these finishes, I am genuinely impressed, and I really can't recommend them enough. Like I mentioned in the intro, this is an Australian-based brand, so I will have their main website linked down below, but I will also have their stockist page available so you can see what other websites carry Picture Polish if you're interested in grabbing them. Make sure to let me know if you tried Picture Polish before, if you've picked up any of these shades, since it has been out for a little while by the time I'm putting this video up, or just let me know any and all thoughts that you have down below so we can chat about it. So thank you so much for hanging out with me today. Thank you so much to Picture Polish for sponsoring this video. I hope that you all have a great rest of your day, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye!